So I pressed the record button, so now we should be all like really good. So yeah, Boing. Welcome to the Chillcast, the podcast where we're just unscripted. We don't give a shit. You can just say whatever you want. It's fully on you. So yeah,
Well,
hello.
good evening, and thank you for having me. And unscripted sounds pretty good to me because I have only a slight idea of what kind of questions I'm about to be asked and what we're going to talk about. So that sounds pretty ideal.
Yeah, that's the main point. It's all gonna be whatever whatever comes to mind because yeah, it's chill. But really, yeah, as you can see on the top and what I asked you about earlier, we're going to be we're going to talk an hour or so, whenever how long you want to be. Talk about OG Splatoon production because you are one of the people who started the Splatoon production like reign with JPEG and Jub during the same time and Inky during the time, but now you're retired, correct?
More or less. I keep toying around with the idea of coming back, but I do know it's a big time commitment, and I keep asking myself, like, if the thing is, if I'm not ready to go, like, give it 100%, I don't know if I want to get back into it. So I like that one time I'll be a backup streamer for something and then just disappear again for 8 months. Part of it was just, I retired because I was just going too hard. I never like to use the word retired because I'm always open to coming back to things, but I definitely have been on a pretty long break for a while.
So like a hiatus, more or less.
Yeah, a hiatus. And I still try to help where I can. Like currently with IPL, I actually help train new streamers or help them work out problems. So like I'm still trying to contribute, but just in a more hands-off way, kind of help keep things aligned, even if I'm not doing the full start to finish broadcasts.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you were the one to like help CKK, Superwin, Justin, aka Pipe Dream, during the times of when they were starting out doing SOS, right?
Yes, I was. And that was, I basically trained that generation of streamers as I was on my way out, which was nice because for the longest time I was doing SOS a lot, and that's an exhausting one, a weekly at night, and I have a desk job, so I'd be up till midnight and then getting up at like 6 in the morning for work.
Oh yeah, no, that definitely sounds painful. Honestly, I am in your shoes, but in the afternoon though, so like as a night owl, it's a kind of funny difference. But hey, at least at the same time, you're not like Brownie. When Brownie's a Dapple streamer who does the Brownie rule, which is at night as well. So Brownie was in your shoes, but
it is exhausting.
It is 100%. But like talking about like you doing it like IPL back in the day, so what, like you already say you did SOS, like what other streams did you do for IPL?
My first introduction to streaming with IPL was actually SAC.
Oh.
Which, yes, and then I became SOS because I was available and willing, because at the time I would say yes to anything. And I had all that energy.
Yeah.
And that livelihood in me. So I started with SAC. I forget who predated me, but they wanted a new streamer for that. I was already on IPL as technical staff, actually, despite the fact that I haven't really done much in that role. I joined IPL with the intention to be a programmer. And I just hadn't really gotten myself in that door as much, but I had the equipment. They needed streamers. They said, hey, would you want to do SAC? And I just kind of filled in, and then it was kind of a maybe I'll stick with it kind of thing. But then as it went on, I really enjoyed it and just kept going. And then SOS happened, and I think have I done any other IPL tournaments?
Super Jump? Neon Rail?
I actually never did Super Jump, and I never did Low Ink.
Neon Rail?
I might have done a Neon Whale. I'm honestly, like, that was kind of as I was on my way out. So if I did a Neon Whale, I did the SAC podcast as well. That was a big thing. Like,
yeah.
Kind of, it was still SAC, but the podcast.
Yeah. So kind of like
was,
this.
Yeah, I knew I was going live a lot, and I'm trying to remember what did I do, and then I would, occasionally help out with Dapple. I helped out with oh
Squid
my
Junction.
gosh. Squid Junction. I was for a brief while I was the streamer for Duel On, the table turf tournament.
Oh yeah, no, I remember when they did that. Yeah.
I did that for like 2 or 3 times. And then what else? I also did off the dial stuff. I helped a little bit.
Mm.
And then
Did you do anything from like Ink TV during back then or in game?
I was a spec cam for the Ink TV Resurgence League. So I wasn't in the OG wave of Ink TV. That was a little before my time. I came in, I really started doing stuff in like 2021, 2022. And so yeah, like Splatoon 2 was pretty firmly established. It had its wings, and I wanted to do something in addition to playing, and that was kind of really where that took off.
Yeah, so funny enough, I actually talked about playing. You were part of a team called Demo IHOP, and that was a team from a long time ago before it unfortunately disbanded. But yeah, why not you talk about that?
So yeah, Thembo IHOP formed in late 2020. So we were, a lockdown formation kind of team.
Yeah.
A bunch of people. And yeah, I had just been off of my last team, which I don't think anyone will particularly remember my first team.
What was it? What was it?
So there have been like 3 other teams with this name. So our team name was called Typhoon, but it was not... I know there have been at least 2 Typhoons since that had reached a higher status.
Yeah.
We were a team called Typhoon that formed on Facebook.
Facebook?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes, I had so much fun, but I was ready to move on because I had been with them for 2 or 3 years. Or yeah, it was 2 years. And some of them were kind of losing interest in the game, and my interest was at a peak. So I was like, I love you guys, but I'm gonna go try to find people who want to play as much as I do. That's when I got connected to Damp Waffle, and we formed Thembo IHOP. And it took a while, but we had so much fun. We cut our teeth with low ink, and that was really like kind of where I got much more invested in the comp scene. And I would stream our matches because I used to stream other stuff randomly. So I've always just had like some streaming equipment around. And so I just naturally started going live with Splatoon, and I loved streaming tournaments and just capturing those moments with the team and everything. And I would occasionally upgrade things to make it a nicer setup. And eventually I built up the stuff where I was like, yeah, I guess I could stream a tournament if they need that.
And that's basically how you end up to be where you are today. But funny enough, talk about where you're streaming. Did you ever use your programming skills to actually like get introduced into your stream? Like, did you ever like add like a scoreboard on the side or?
Yes, I did. It was nothing to the level of what the orgs have, because those are long cooked projects that I have a lot of respect for. But one of the only personal programming projects I ever did, because my day job is actually a programmer, so theoretically I should have the skills to do a lot of the things, but when I get home, that's the last thing I want to do. But all of my personal OBS overlays were just controlled by text files. I was pretty old school with that, where there's just text files on my computer for everything. And I only had one monitor. And so my PC and my Switch both needed the same monitor. So when I was live, I couldn't see OBS on my screen, so I couldn't change the scoreboard. I couldn't change the active teams or anything. And so instead of just getting a second monitor, I was like, well, I have a laptop. Surely there's a way I can control the contents of these text files on my desktop from my laptop. So I can control my overlays. So I actually made like a little web app, a little web service to just change. It's just a bunch of fields, like a little web page. And I can change all the numbers and fields for my scoreboard from my laptop over the local network. And so I would control my OBS overlays like that.
When was this? What year? When was this?
I will actually have to look at my GitHub because it's kind of unfinished.
It's on your GitHub?
Like,
oh my god.
I mean, I just used it to track to just have it tracked somewhere. Okay, it looks like the last thing I really did to it was like 1 to 2 years ago. So yeah, it was while I was actively streaming. I mean, I was trying to upgrade my own stream a little bit, and I was working on that.
So
yeah, I just made a little Python web service.
So that was in 2023 time, or
yeah, it looks like 2023 was like, I technically did a bug fix about a year ago. I think that was something that I had sitting on my local, and I just pushed it to GitHub because I realized it was sitting on my machine forever. I'm trying to see when this started. Oh gosh. But yeah, it was actually fairly well into it. I got inspired by all the tools I had seen, and I was I was getting a craving where I'm like, I should make a personal project. This is my day job. I should show that I can write something.
Yeah, the day of works. Like, because you say there was like 1 to 2 years ago, so by this time it would be in 2023. Then funny enough, when you said about like you were amazed by all the equipment stuff, I think this was before Ellie actually got into production as well in 2020, like middle 2023 maybe. It might have been during the time as well. Yeah. So
Ellie was just starting to show up to a lot more stuff as I was stepping out.
So that means it was during the time that Falco ran during the time as well. And actually, this makes sense when you were saying you were amazed, because Demo IHOP was about Fire Night Frenzy, right?
Yes, they were. Although, was I on that? That might have been after I left. That might have been when Len was on the team. Len replaced me. I remember watching it. Also, it looks like my first commits to that project were actually January 2022.
Okay, so funny enough, it was actually it was during the time of Friday Night Frenzy, but this was before Falco actually got introduced into the whole scene entirely. So funny enough, secretly, you were the first one to actually introduce a Shift.io kind of program on your own stream before anyone else. So that's
fascinating.
That is crazy to figure out now on this. So yeah,
I never would have known that. I just presumed other streamers were doing that, but I guess not. And it was all just because I was too stubborn to get another monitor.
Well, you use your programming skills to good fortune, because if you don't have another monitor, just use a local server like you did, and you just saved like maybe back then like $80. No, not $80, like $120 USD.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, you're smart.
It was I was proud of it, even though it had bugs and everything. I was like, I made something and it's helping me. That's the programmer's dream, really, is to actually make something useful. Yeah,
no, 100%, and you definitely did. So like, continue to talk about like you with streaming, and then we can go back to talk about them IOP. But you streaming, like you said that you did Splatoon, and I remember that we talked a little bit before all this as well, like in the middle of stuff, like even when you started to stream again, like in like 2024, you started to stream rhythm games again. Why don't we talk about that?
Okay, rhythm games. I after my kind of Splatoon, again, hiatus is the best word, because I don't see a world where I fully leave Splatoon. I'm sure I'll be back.
Yeah. Stuck in the rabbit hole.
Just, I needed a breather. I was spreading myself thin. Rhythm games have kind of been my rock. I actually got into Splatoon because I was burnt out of rhythm games, and then I got burnt out of Splatoon and went back to rhythm games. So it's been one of my anchors over time. I really need those like single player games to just push myself and kind of focus on myself. And I love them because the sessions can be as short or as long as you want. And so, yeah, that summer that I know I was streaming a lot of Sound Voltex. I had been playing... I play rhythm games since I was a kid. Like, I found DDR as a kid and was enamored. And then college happened, and then I found the buttony games with 2DX. And I used to stream 2DX all the time. And then that's what kicked me into Splatoon, because I drove myself up a wall playing that. And then I picked up Sound Voltex, and yeah, I really love streaming it because finally we had a way to share this game with each other. Because the Konaste version, if you remember, sorry if I'm totally just geeking out on this, but the Konaste version was like, oh, we have an official version of this game that we can stream on Twitch. It's nothing shady. It's not a simulator. I mean, I had to pay a subscription, but I was excited that I could actually just play the legit game and talk to people and go live. And that really motivated me to get better and just keep playing. And I was really excited to kind of get achievements while live. And so yeah, that going live was a big motivator. And I always had my sessions went way longer when I was live because I was always excited to record something good.
So the Canasta version, like, is it like a download program or is it like a download on Steam? That's official.
It's their own launcher because Konami always does things in a weird way.
Yeah, makes sense.
But yeah, you have to pay a subscription and then you download the game and then you actually have to launch it from their website every time. So you have to be logged into your account, click a button, it launches it, and then yeah, it runs as a standard game, and then you can stream it.
Damn.
So yeah, it's nice. And the nice thing is if you play in arcade, it will show your scores from the home version in the arcade.
Oh, that is cool. But also, before we for your Sound Focus, like, I know for Sound Focus, like, there's like a ranking. Like, what's your ranking right now? Like, your Voltage Force? Yeah, for Volt Force, yeah.
Right now in the arcade, it's a bit lower. I forget what it is at home. I'm around 19.1. Yeah, so my current things I'm trying to work on, I'm trying to like get AAA pluses on 19s and trying to full combo 18s and perfect play 17s. That's really where I'm at right now.
So you're right now on a level of, like, you said so 19 is your level?
Yeah, so it goes up to 20, and I've passed like a third of the 20s, and I'm trying to like get high scores on the 19s and then trying to full combo the 18s. Like, those are the things that'll push my rank further at this point, is I have to like full combo 18s or get high scores on 19s.
Well, funny enough, you're not the only Splatoon player who actually plays Sound Voltex. There is 2 other players that I know, well, one of them is TO and one of them is part of FIFO, that actually do play Sound Voltex at their local, like, arcade as well. Sky is one of them, who does TOing for, like, Prison Break, for Under Pressure, basically. Their Sound Voltex Volt Force on setting from their profile is 18, and also Switcher just made it to 19 on May 4th. So
nice. All right, so right, we're neck and neck then, I guess.
100%.
I've also seen I think Kira or Kamakira is a TO. And who also plays? I think CCA.
Yeah, CCA maybe. That would make sense. And they might be high as well. So it makes sense. Like, it's, and also Toshidaru as well. If you remember from Dapple.
I have talked to Toshi about Sound Voltex before.
Yep. I find out. So we went to we actually went to Booyah Bay, but the day before we were able to have a chill day, and me, Fufu, Brian Brian is another one, Vice, Pepe, and Toshi, we all went to round 1. Toshi just grinded Sound Voltex the entire session while we were playing other rhythm games, and like Toshi, I think maybe the volt ranking was like 18 as well. So
that sounds about right.
Yeah,
when we last talked.
Yep. So they're definitely going to be grinding it, and like next month I'm going to be going to Booyah Bay again. So I'll update you on that and see how that goes. But actually, I'll send you a video later about Toshi playing, because I remember I did record them actually playing like one of the maps, and it was, I think it was a 19. So
nice.
Yeah, but other than Sound Vortex, you actually did a little bit of Neon Whale back in the day as well.
Do you mean Neon White?
Neon White, not Neon Whale. Yeah, no, Neon White. Yeah.
It's so funny because when Splatoon people would talk about Neon Whale and they type NW,
yeah,
my brain would think Neon White.
Oh yeah.
Because yes, I've streamed a lot of that because I got really hooked on just pushing the individual times, and my old speedrunner came out. I have ancient speedrunning roots from forever ago, and Neon White, it was the first game in a long time that really latched onto my brain like that. They did a really good job of making that game feel good to run that way. So like if you can recall the records actually that you did actually get like a good score on, I think a good score on, because you played it on Switch, if I remember correctly. Yes, too. And you did play on Switch. You have like 3 records on Switch, if I remember correctly, too. I'm guessing several of them have been dethroned by now. I'm hoping Minefield is still there. but that may be wishful thinking. Minefield was the one that everyone hates to play, and I grinded forever to get that, and I grinded it way past everyone else, and I was thinking no one's gonna touch this. But actually in the past year, the Switch people have gotten really dedicated and buckled down really hard, and a few of them have really improved on a lot of stages. So I'm actually worried. I wonder if my Minefield is still the record. I remember my first world record was on, I think, Apocrypha, which was my favorite stage for a long time, which that record of mine has since long been bested, but that was the first one I got, and I was so excited.
Well, it's still good that, like, well, most likely, I think the one that everyone hates, I think that one might still be alive for you, so because everyone hates it. But I think there was a like spreadsheet somewhere if we can find it. But yeah, most likely, let's say for now that it's safe. But yeah, no. But you say like the Switch people has been grinding it so far. Like, do you think you might ever come back to it or to Sound Voltex again? Or
Sound Voltex, I've actually been low key playing. I still I haven't been streaming it just because my setup at home is kind of taken apart right now. But I still go to round 1 and play. Yeah, because anytime I find myself in the city, there's a round 1 in the heart of the city in Philadelphia. And so if I'm just in the city for whatever reason, I often find myself just stopping by round 1, and I'll play Sound Voltex for like an hour.
Makes sense. But so actually, it's a funny way that we can slide into talking back about them IHOP. So yeah, the last time we were talking about like Friday Night Frenzy, when you like before Friday Night Frenzy, when you made the scoreboard for like your OBS. But why not like continue talking about demo IHOP? Like, what was your experience like with the team before Len replaced you?
We are still a close group of friends, and we learned so much about the game together. And I think I just want to like skip way ahead to like the reason we disbanded. It's not because we disliked each other or anything. It was just several of us had, wanted a break. Several of us wanted to keep going. And even though we love each other as people, we kind of realized we had some chemistry differences on the stage or like on the actual competition field. We're like, you know what? We're all gonna go our separate ways, but we have great respect for what we did together. That team, yeah, we were just a group of people who really just wanted to make anything work. We were stubborn. We formed over, and the scene has changed so much since then. But at the time, there was a lot less, but not zero. I'm not gonna act like we were the first, but a lot less like LGBTQ visibility in comp. Again, it wasn't that we were the first. I'm not gonna act like we weren't, but
yeah,
we were one of the earlier teams to kind of draw attention to that. And it wasn't that hard. It wasn't that dangerous for us, but it was just because we formed in a server centered around that, which it was just like an LGBTQ Splatoon server. And so that just kind of became core to our identity. And we really made it about like friends goofing off while also sweating as hard as we could. And I always loved those type of teams, so I was glad I got to be one of those type of teams.
And it's funny enough that you literally like for them up in general, like the icon that the team was like during the whole time too. Like it was like so great to like actually see during the time as well. Even battling against you as well during that time too. So literally because of that, like nearby the end, most likely like Riptide, I think 2022, it was when you were starting to like go off of production, but it's starting to go like starting to go off the production and starting to go off on playing to go into your hiatus. Like what was your time at the LAN? Riptide 2022. Was that the last time you were playing?
Was that
right?
the one that I was still with IHOP? Or
yes,
I did. Okay, because I know I did one Riptide as a pickup.
Yes,
and I think that was 2023.
Yeah, that was 2023, the year after. But 2022.
2022. I'm trying to remember who all was on our roster that year. Wait, I have the posters right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so
there was a VOD as well on YouTube stuff too.
And Damp, and I'm trying to remember if Samson was with us that year.
I
think he was. Yes.
I think they didn't play during that time. where there was
okay.
I didn't play during the time because funny enough, the reason why I bring it up, Riptide 2022 was the pickup I was with Batson. Damn it, I forgot. It was Batson's. I think it was Tiger, and someone else that I forgot. Floops. That one. Yeah, those three.
Okay.
And we battled on the main stage, and you beat us on a game 5 on Clan Blitz on Mega Mart.
Ooh, wow.
Dan popped off like a lot. Like you guys popped up a lot on that. Like that.
I remember. I think it might have been 2023.
Oh.
But yeah, Clam Blitz, or no, it was Splat Zone's Mako Mart was I had a pop off moment, and I will forever remember that. And I'll also remember it because I on stream got a quad on the other team, and one of the players was Len, who ended up replacing me, and he's popped off since then. But like, I still get to remember that. So I get the Mako Marts mixed up, the moments.
But so in 2023, yeah, no, that's kind of funny too. That it was on Len too. So yeah, no, you got good hits on some good people. But yeah, no, honestly, like you only go to Riptide, right, for your lands?
Yes, Riptide has been the only LAN the only major I've really attended. I've been to smaller ones. I went to Brookland once, or it's the New York Splatoon tournament. Brookland's the venue.
Big Dapple?
Big Dapple. Yes, I went to the Big Dapple once. And I also, Philadelphia hosted, I think it was called Nerd Inc. Out. And that one had a decent amount of teams show up. I think 8 or something. And I remember Dude made a surprise appearance.
Dude? But it's, okay, yes. That's crazy.
Yeah, he just happened to I forget if he was just in the area for some reason, or I forget the details, but yeah, Dude showed up. I actually was production for that tournament.
Oh, how was it?
Yeah, that was fun. I basically was given some screenshots of what they wanted it to look like, and I was kind of asked to do production last minute, but I was also low-key prepared for that question to hit me because I wasn't sure who they were going to have doing it.
Makes sense.
So I got asked pretty close to the tournament, like, hey, can you stream it? And I was more than willing to. That was so scuffed, but it was also so fun because it was hosted at a local host, which actually has lots of broadcast equipment. But there were no staff there, like really knew how to use it. And I didn't know how to use it. And I wasn't about to mess around with other people's equipment that I didn't understand. So I basically scrambled and recreated like an online stream setup in person. We literally had like 2 PCs under the desk.
What?
And they were in a Discord call with each other.
That is so funny.
Despite the fact that we had this whole like mixing board and real equipment and everything, it was down to the wire, and I didn't have time to make it work. So, I fell back on what I knew.
No, honestly, it's so funny, but makes sense. But I'm guessing the delay on the audio wasn't that bad, so that's the good thing at least. Like you got to make
it wasn't a delay. And basically we had the headphones, the commentators muted each other in their calls so that they wouldn't actually hear each other in the headphones, and they would just hear each other in person.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of smart. Damn. But if you talk about, the local host during that time, wasn't that tournament ran by Magic? Or
yes.
That's how I remember. Yeah. That was that was before like local hosts like ended and when Blue Sky started to be a thing as well.
Yep. That sounds about right. Now, I was a late comer to Blue Sky. I really didn't want to replace what Twitter had in my life. So as soon as I learned there was like a new Twitter, for the longest time, I was like, do I really want that? And eventually I caved and got it way late. Not that it's a problem, but I know I was a pretty late adopter. And I've settled in. I'm trying to learn from my mistakes from Twitter and not engage with things that will cause me stress. Just keep it low key.
Yeah, that's honestly the good thing, and that's what a lot of production people do anyways. So that's the good thing, that if we're like that kind of environment, that you just stay out of the way of the actual player plays, because like but at least on Blue Sky it's better than on Twitter, because Twitter is a hell. So yeah. But really, like,
It's definitely better.
yeah, it's definitely better. Like, if you want to go back, like, to talk about again the locals with your like with the A team on nerded out, like you said that it was scuff setup, the commentator was still there, like, but how was like the general vibe? Like, was it still good for you? Like, were you able to come back?
It was fun. And yeah, I had a really good time, and I was honestly really happy that I was able to step in and fill that, because I did miss the one thing I love about production is you feel so useful because you're doing a lot. And so I went from this role where I was streaming not everything, but I was streaming a lot of things just because I was, fixated on it, and I just kept doing it. And then I kind of just stopped doing anything. And so it was kind of nice to get a taste of that, even just for a day, to just get back in and be helpful and coordinate the commentary, except in person, you get to count them in, kind of shouting it, using your hands. It was a lot more tactile and social, and the vibes were good. Everyone was really friendly.
Yeah. Like, if another land pops up like in the Philadelphia area, would you do it again?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, would you bring your own setup though? Like, that's the question.
I could, as long as I could transport it safely.
Oh yeah, true. Do you have a suitcase?
I would be totally willing to do that, and if not do that, then I'd be willing to play, because the thing with LANs is they're just fun to go to, no matter how it goes, unless of course something horrible happens. But
yeah,
I just love the atmosphere. I've always loved events. I love going to conventions. I love going to tournaments. I just love that atmosphere. So I'll probably, I haven't been playing, but I'll probably end up at Riptide. I just show up at things.
Like, you're basically turning into a LAN player now, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, like that. Honestly, in the quote unquote, that's in the production, like in the production tunnel, in the production hole, basically. Yeah. If you go into production, you're just a LAN player now, and it's so much fun. Like, I agree with you on that 100%. Like, do you think you want to go to any other lands? Like, you want to go to the one like in Seattle, go to the one in Chicago, or maybe the one in California?
I totally don't rule it out. It's just that I forget to make time for it, and then the dates creep up. And I always think every year, I'm like, I'm gonna go to more lands this year, and then something comes up. But then Riptide's the one where it's like, I've been every year, I have to go, so I go. But I don't have that rapport with the other events yet.
But like, if you were to go to a land, like for local, which one would you want to go to?
I have to remember.
Did you watch LCS though? That's a question as well. Did you watch LCS recently?
I tuned in for little bits and pieces of it, but I did not watch like the whole thing.
Okay, well, if you remember the teams from there, like they are basically all the main 8 lands you can go to. There is some other lands as well, like Twin Squirrels, like that's a new one, but I think Atlanta. But there is mainly those main 8 as of right now. Which one would you want to try to go to other than maybe like Metro Inc?
Isn't the one in Arizona super stacked?
Shiny's there, Pepe's there, Eevee came there, so
I want to see Arizona, so maybe I would pick that one.
Would you want to go to anyone else though?
Oh, I mean, I would happily go to pretty much any of them, to be honest. I like traveling, so.
But what's your top 3? What's your top 3?
Oh, and you said there's one in Chicago still, right?
Yeah, there's still one in Chicago by Floppy.
Okay, I always like a reason to go to Chicago. I like that city. It's basically Philadelphia.
Oh.
I hope no one takes offense to that. I meant that they have similar characteristics.
That would be really funny though, if someone takes offense to it, because who knows who get to see this. It will be really, really funny to see what happens.
And you may have just said it, but my brain is frying. Are there any in Canada? Because I would love to see other.
There is only one in Canada, and it's in Alberta. And that one's like, and the funny thing about that land for Alberta Swamp, that one is like a out of touch to the land server, like to the land community of Splatoon, and
it's just like its own little insular.
Yes, yes, it's its own thing. It's in its own little bubble until recently, because they just got invited into the land server where all the TOs are. So soon enough they'll be coming up, but also at the same time, we have a social event in Toronto It's just a social event, so there's no tournament.
Okay.
So yeah,
Just kind of like hang out and play.
yep, literally just that. Hammy's trying to do one up in Newfoundland as well, so that's going to be coming up soon too. So
That's pretty far up there.
yeah, so like in 2026, most likely, if you want to come to Canada, you could do that during that time, or 2027. If
I
you
have a passport and I need to use it.
okay, that's kind of sick. If you can go to Gomo, like, or just visit like Toronto for some time, like that would be cool, because Gomo is coming up in July. So if you want to try to go from that, you can try.
Wow, that's. I'm trying to think. I have one event in July. Is it early July? Because
It is actually, I think, in.
oh, it is. I already have something that
yeah.
weekend. Oh no.
Well, you'll get to see grassroots Canadian lands happening at a major, other than Battle of BC, and other than Vancouver as well. Actually, those are two other lands that has Splatoon that just passed. So
That's awesome.
yeah, Canada is boosting up soon enough, but Vancouver might be coming up next again, other than Global. But again, that's on the LA side. So yeah, that's a funny story there.
Okay.
But yeah, so those are the lands that you want to try to go to, and you said you want to go land plan now for production. Like, did you actually, like, at Riptide, there was like a background for the main scene, for the mainstream, and you were part of IPL during the time as well. So you are one of the people who has access back there. Like, did you help out the mainstream during any of those Riptides, or?
I have always offered to help if they need it, but they've actually not needed it. And I don't mean to say like they didn't want me or anything, but they always say like, we know you didn't sign up as staff, so we're never going to ask you to do anything you don't want to do. And I'm just like, if you desperately need someone, poke me. And it hasn't come up yet.
Yeah.
But, I always try to make sure my hat's in the ring if I'm needed.
Oh.
I've done commentary, but that's it.
Yeah,
I've done commentary at the last 2 Riptides, I think.
Yeah, you were with I think Tux and Damp for 2 different ones. If I remember correctly, you were on the mainstream for it with Damp in like 2023, and with Tux I think, or Damp again in 2024 on Splatoon tourney.
I was with Samson in 2022. Or wait, has it been 3 now? Or no, I did 2 shifts with Damp. Things are running together. I've commentated with Damp twice, and I've commentated with Samson once. So I guess I've done it 3 times now.
I guess so. Well, now, so if you think about it, would you want to be going to the commentary ring if you ever have the chance to, like on an online tournament?
It's so tough. Online commentary is so tough. I have the privilege of almost every time I've ever done commentary, it's been with someone I know very well. Samson, Damp, and then I've done online commentary once with Echo. Many years ago, we commentated in a Midway Inc. tour.
Oh.
Back when that was a thing.
Oh my god, wow. Yeah. That's crazy. But like, would you ever want to try to do it again with the new commentators that's in today?
I have always considered it. I like talking. The thing that makes me hesitant is it is such a grind.
It's just what do you mean by it's such a grind? What do you mean by that?
I guess getting your foot in the door with commentary. It's not. I know there's tons of events to choose from, but I guess it feels like the commentators I see most of the time, they're commentating a lot, and I guess you don't have to do that, but I guess because of the way I am, I like to dive headfirst into something. So it's like, if I want to officially take that step and say, I want to be a commentator, then I'm like, I'm going to have to go all in, and I'm going to have to set aside this time to do all these tournaments. This is totally just like mechanisms in my head going all over the place, making up the scenario. I know I could totally just hop in and occasionally commentate something. I think the reality is, if I want to commentate, I need to brush up my understanding of the modern game.
Yeah, that kind of would make sense if you want to do that, but really, like, and in the commentating in general, like, you really could do that, but depending on the commentator that you have, actually, like, you could actually be fine. Like, because like if you just have genuine old knowledge of the game, like because you might know the players from all time back then, so you'll be fine from that. You'll be analytical side. Like you don't need to be scared. We want to try to go into commentary because all the new commentators like that's here for weeklies, they got you back. Like don't worry, you'll be safe on there. But if you want to say like in a different kind of setting, like for like a one-off, like you said, the midway event when you did with Echo, like if you like for the last podcast or like with the podcast with Cactus I did earlier like yesterday, I said about like two different types of commentators, like a passive and a extroverted commentator. Echo commentator style, if I remember correctly, was a passive style. Like for you, like you can, do you talk about the game a lot, or like, do you try to rely on the other person?
I've historically been a play-by-play. I basically will rapid fire rattle off what's going on in front of me, and then I will pause to let people interject with why what's going on is cool.
So you're a yapper.
I am a yapper, and I still cringe at my VODs from. So for whatever reason, my Riptide VODs from 2024 didn't get saved, so I don't get to see my old commentary from last year. But 2 years ago, wait, were you gonna say something?
You were doing Splatoon. You talking about Splatoon 20? Or
yes.
Oh, funny enough, we still have them. We actually still have them.
Really?
Yeah, we still have them. It's unlisted.
It's not online.
It's just not online. It's unlisted on the Splatoon 20 YouTube channel. If anyone wants to know about that, yeah, it's still there. It just doesn't. Just not shared.
I'm just so curious if my commentary was better because 2 years ago, my commentary with Damp. I still cringe when I listen to it. I think my delivery in a lot of moments was good, but I had a habit of cutting him off. And in the moment, I was so afraid of dead air that I tried to catch the exact moment. I'm like, all right, he's about to stop talking now. I'm going to jump in. But in reality, when I listen back, I was just cutting Damp off over and over again.
Well,
and I'm like, oh god.
Well, the thing is, like, you both are yappers, so like you need to give the other one air. So it's honestly might be a good thing that they cut each other off just because of that, and because it's both your like hype, like play by play, like it makes sense because if you both say the same thing, it technically like recognizes like you both saw it, but it's good for the hype in chat, which most likely did happen because of you guys do it, because you're so high energy, so it makes sense, and it's good that you guys got to do that. So yeah, in the end, for your comedy style, like most likely the more you did it, well, you did it like 3 times you said, but most likely if you still have that knowledge or still have that vibe, which most likely you still do because like you still are technically talkative like this right now, like you could still slide in and just be fine in like any kind of comedy, but it's depending on the person. Definitely, for sure. So like in right now, like if you want to be funny in there's an idea that I talked with CKK about, like why not for one SOS we do a commentators only SOS. Well, no, not commentators only, streamers only SOS, where all the streamers commentate for the event for one SOS, and let's see what happens. Would you want to be a part of that?
I could potentially do that. I like, yeah, that sounds lighthearted and fun, and I think that's as long as my game sense doesn't have to be super refined and I just have to be a goofball, I can do that. I can nail that. Well, which reminds me of
what to remind you of.
So again, I have great respect for so many commentators who do their job super well, but I just will never forget one of my favorite commentary blocks ever was when, and I think this has happened multiple times, but when you put JPEG and Grace together.
Oh,
they are so funny, and that's what I'm imagining with like the streamer commentary. It's just these people who have this very deep history together, but the public doesn't always see it as much. So then when they hop on the mic, they're just so funny, and you're like, where did this come from?
That's the funny thing actually, because like for like for saying on that, like because IPL is like more like a family, it's like so close doors with each other, because like if you're looking at the IPL staff server, there's just like so many like funny goofy things that's in there that everyone still talks in, like compared to like the Dapple server where it's basically just for the events and that's it. So I think like there's a different it's different between each kind of org. Like for CCA, because you're in the CCA server as well, and you were doing it for IPL. Like CCA has like their own staff meeting, like kind of things together, and they actually just do some knickknacks as well. So it mostly likely will be depending on the org, but honestly, like, yeah, it's interesting to see, like, when you say about J-Peg and Grace, they doing comedy set together, like, it would be really funny to see on either SOS or even Paling Pool, like, on a Wednesday weekly if you're free. Like, that would be an interesting thing to see as well with who you partner with. It always, as well, depending on the streamer. So, who would you want to be with if you actually were in that?
Like the streamers.
Yes, and the streamers. Who would you want to be with?
That is hard. I mean, you're pretty much one of the only other streamers I've had a lot of conversations with, other than like Jub.
So, would it be? So you're saying it would be me to be?
I feel like if I would be most likely to be able to have that with you. I'm sure if I practiced with some people, or I just, there's not a lot of streamers I've been in voice calls with aside from, here's how to set up IPL. Now, I guess on that vein, Toshi is another streamer that I've spent a decent amount of time chatting with. It's been a while, but in our heyday, we talked a good bit.
Would you be? So that means you would be mostly be saying a lot about jellies and say about like a lot of sound Poltex stream during that time too, because
we also used to overfish together.
Yeah, so you have a lot of sense. Like it would make sense to do it. Like it would be really funny. Honestly, like if there's another overfisher event like from Dapple, it would be cool to have you both on it then. Like that's a good idea.
Yes.
Like honestly, like then going to overfishing then, because you said about it. How long were you an overfisher for?
Oh, that's another one where I've been like on and off of it for many years. I got into it probably not far apart from when I got into streaming, like 2021, 2022 was when I really started doing it. And then it's another thing where I just pick it up for a while and go really hard, and then I put it back down. I got into it kind of midway through Splatoon 2, and then I got into it again when Splatoon 3 was pretty new. And then I haven't done it in a while, but it was another way to interact with the game, you know, when comp was kind of frying my brain. And I just wanted something else to stay sweaty. And it still, you know, it refined my mechanics. It really made me think more because, especially in Splatoon 3, they made it so you can't muscle your way through every situation. There's just too many bullet sponges in front of you that if you don't plan something properly, you will die. And that was an adjustment, and it kind of helped me think more. It didn't always carry over to comp, but I just liked things that stretched my brain in different ways, because playing comp for X amount of years, I had a very established way of thinking about the game, and it wasn't always the best way. So I liked to have other ways to kind of stretch my brain, like I said. Yeah,
so it's good that you had like another outlet to stretch your brain on for comp, like other than just the regular game itself, and playing as someone was fun for you. Like, what was your best achievement for overfishing though?
In Splatoon 3, I cracked 200 once. In a shift.
Nice.
I forget what it was. It was definitely kind of silly. I think, oh my gosh, it might have been a big run. I think it might have been Inkblot Art Academy.
So one of the OG ones, one of the first ones.
Yeah, and I was with some very strong players in a Discord server, and we had a really good run, and my heart was pounding when I realized we cracked 200, because that was always the big number back in Splatoon 2. Even though it's way easier to get in Splatoon 3, it was still exciting to get that number.
Yeah, so that is actually a really good achievement, honestly, for sure. But then in Splatoon 2, what was your best achievement as an overfisher?
I think it was 172. On Lost Outpost, maybe, which is a wild stage to get it on.
That is wild. Holy, like that was the box chip map, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I remember. I think that was the one it was on, and I don't think I had a video of it, but I know I got 170, and I remember Clang from Destiny Troops was on the team.
DD Troops. Oh my god, that's a name. That's a team name that has not been said for a long time too.
I know, right? I mean, this was well after DT kind of stopped competing, but that's how I knew the player. And I apologize if I said anything. Like, I don't think I've ever had to say their name out loud or anything, so I might have said it wrong. But I do remember that, and that was a formative moment in Splatoon 2 for me. And I had like this old squad of people I played with almost every night. It was like Hydro, who's amazing at the game now, and then like Codster, and I'm so sorry, who else was it? Oh my gosh. I had like this collective, we would play at like 2 in the morning of these people, and I would stream it sometimes just because, again, it's like speedrunning where you go live, and if something good happens, you have it recorded.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It was the best.
Yeah, so so you're saying like that was in 2021, 2022, like, and you said about like you playing comp. So how many years technically have you been playing comp? How long have you been playing comp before you like took hiatus?
First started playing comp in any sense in 2018.
So Splatoon.
That was when I formed I was part of that Facebook team where, you know, you had to be at least A+ to join, and I didn't make the team the first time.
Oh, wow.
And you had to make the team by 1v1ing the captain.
Oh,
it's so funny in
that
retrospect.
is so funny, yeah.
Oh, but then I ended up captaining that team. That was my first Ludi experience. Div 8, Div 6. I still have great respect for what we did together back then. So yeah, I started in 2018. Then IHOP formed in 2020. And then I departed from IHOP in 2023 or late 2022. I forget, like the turn of the year. And then I still hung around with them. Like, I was still their biggest fan. And I did some Ludi pickups for a while, but nothing ever really stuck. And that's fine. And then I don't know, just kind of floating around. I was surprised people remember me sometimes, to be honest.
Well, again, like, you're one of the OG like Splatoon players and, again, Splatoon streamers during the time, so how can't we forget you and your team? Like, that's really the main reason that, like, if people are OG player, they remember you, like, you guys from your team. So, like, for you guys, like, for you, and like for Damp, and like for Len, and for Tux, and for Samson as well, I guess, too.
Samson, AJ, Echo.
Yep. All of them from IHOP. Like, literally, like, in the funniest of things for jokes, like, if I was in commenting and I saw like any of you guys' names, most likely you, Damp, Tux, AJ, kinda, because I kind of forget AJ at times, but like, and Len, like, I always joke about Dembo IHOP being your first team because I remember you guys playing against you guys back then. So yeah, it's funny how it comes like to a full circle when you go to pick up and they recognize you from being all the way back then. And for the people who remember the names, like, it's kind of like a shell shock, like, whoa, so they've been playing they're from there? That's crazy. It's like, it's that kind of thought in your back of the mind if they were in that old gen category.
So weird to think that I'm one of the old heads now. It's so funny, but I mean, I guess it's true. It's true. It happens so fast.
Yeah, you're now a boomer. Congrats.
Yay! I turned 30 this year, so that checks out.
Oh my god. Oh wow, that is kind of funny how everybody in that turns, but still, like, if we go and slide back into like the Splatoon production era now, like in 2021 and 2022, like during your time of production, what was your event that you liked to stream? Like, what was your most like favorite stream that you ever did?
SAC was my baby. I didn't make SAC, but I inherited SAC, and I took that one very seriously. Like, SAC became my tournament. Like, it was assumed I was streaming SAC unless I couldn't, and then I had to find a replacement. Like, SAC was the one I felt the most protective over. So, I also forgot to mention, I think the first event I technically streamed was, if you remember the series Bad Ideas Only.
I think I remember that, yeah.
I think that was technically the first event I ever streamed, and I just wanted to shout that out because that was another one where that was kind of my baby. That was also part of the reason I developed my scoreboard code, is because I would stream Bad Ideas Only, and I wanted to have something generic I could use for my personal streams as well as that. And that was because I was friends with Roundy, who was a TO, and he just wanted to stream, and it was low stakes, and it could pretty much only improve over time. So I thought, yeah, I'll take that on, and I would do that, and just that was my first. I think that's kind of where I cut my teeth and got less scared of it. And then SAC was my first big one, my serious one, and I took that very seriously, and I was very proud of it. And so I think it still would be SAC. That was my one. I did a lot for SOS as well, but I think SAC was the one that was close to my heart.
Yeah, because it's the thing that you made, so it makes sense. Like a weekly, it's a weekly. So like if you said like a weekly wasn't your best tournament, like that's a shocker. Because it's a weekly.
Yeah.
Like the only thing they could do is like a goofy thing, but it's good that SEC was your baby and you like to see it from the start and you able to like work it out for like the next like 3 seasons more or less. I think.
Yeah,
like
I think I did it for a few. And again, I wasn't there for the first season, or like they had other streamers for a while, but then I inherited it during a transition. And I think whenever it went to IPL more or less, and then I picked it up, and that was when I ran with it.
So just saying that you were there during the time where SAC, were you here during the time? No, wait, I think you were playing actually during the time when SAC was called Splatoon Amateur Circuit.
Yes, I did play in SAC before it was an IPL event.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what about that?
I think I might have even played in it once with Typhoon.
How was that during that time?
Honestly, I don't remember anything. I remember we didn't do very well, but it was fun. I loved tournaments. I just wanted to play in anything.
Do you remember Fresh Stock Cup during back then as well?
Oh, I can't say I do. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, funny enough, like during that time, like there was during an event, like during that time, an IPL, which is SAC event that happened all the way back then, where it was like TOs and staff, like versus TO and staff during back then. Do you want to see that happen again?
I think that would be fun, as long as it's all in good spirits.
Like an IPL, like in-house event, something like that.
Yeah, I do remember the IPL versus SAC tournament. Is that what the Fresh Start Cup was?
The Fresh Start Cup was a different organization actually, but SAC and IPL was the two like big heads during that time. So
yeah, because I do remember watching that tournament.
Yeah, that was honestly like a legendary event that actually never came through afterwards. Like that was the only time that happened. I think there's no fault of it. That's the thing that sucks. I think there's no fault of it that actually exists.
I know there's a clip of Grace falling off the stage on Moray Towers.
Oh wow, that is just funny.
I don't know anything else from that stream.
That's so funny that that's the main call out that you got to remember. That's like a core memory.
Because that clip kept coming back up later on over the years.
Oh my gosh, that's a core memory then for you. Oh my god. If you bring it up to Grace, like that might be PTSD. Who knows?
She knows.
Oh my god, that's a funny thing to know now. But
I think because it was one of the matches where they played with their eyes closed or something.
Oh.
And it was on Moray Towers, and they went to Grace, and she just like walks off the map. I don't know. It's just funny.
Oh my god, that is actually a really funny thing to think about. But yeah, like you would like to see like an in-house like swim event or like. Yeah.
And I like it because sometimes, and I guess it's different for the players that are known players that become stream or like production staff, but. In my experience, some of the production staff that are very quiet behind the scenes, they're pretty darn good at the game, and they'll surprise you if you don't pay attention. So sometimes it's fun to see them express that side of themselves where they're like, time to dust off this old weapon and teach these kids a lesson. Like, I've seen it happen. Well,
you've seen it happen, but were you the one to do it to some people? That's a good question.
Maybe. I can try my best.
Well, what weapon do you play?
I mean, Splatlings are pretty much the only thing I've ever been very good at. I played a very fraudulent NZAP for a while, but I don't think anyone wants to see that.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, do you want to know funny statistics as well, actually, for streamers? For streamers and production people, there is a 99% chance or 99 like ratio that all streamers are support players or backline players.
I see it. You know, you just got to have that grand vision of everything going on, right? Like
Yep.
that's in your blood.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, you want to know who the top streamer rank wise is?
I have no clue.
Tacos.
Okay.
Tacos is a new streamer who actually came in for the A41 tournaments and I forgot what the org is, but the show org, the org called the show. The tournament, the organization that has like too many tournaments under the belt. Like Tacos is one of the streamers on there, or like I think one of the only streamers there that actually exists still, if they do it. They got DivX recently in season 15, if I remember correctly. So,
wow.
Or no, I think it was this season actually. Or no, I think it was season 15 that they got DivX. So, yeah. Competition is stiff, and there is basically there is a DivX player who is a streamer. That's the crazy thing that no one could ever thought, because yeah, when you left playing, you were in Div 5, if I remember correctly, right?
I peaked in Div 3.
In Div 3, okay. So mid-level era then. Well,
yes.
Oh no, wait, during the time there was like a Div, was it capped to Div 9 or Div 10? Or did Div X exist? That's the question.
Div X existed. So the season that I was Div 3 it was only like 3 seasons ago, I think. Yeah, because I played with the Starmobile. And it was also the season that Thembo IHOP was Div 3. Because I wasn't on Thembo IHOP. But I think we both made Div 3, or maybe they made Div 3 the next season. I forget. I think they were 4 and I was 3, but I definitely was, I had strong teammates, but my highest ever placement was 3. Most of my career was in like 4 and 5.
So I'm thinking now then, I think you're literally the second highest ranking streamer in Lily divisions, if I'm thinking about it correctly. Yeah.
Some big shoes to fill.
That is some big shoes to fill, and if we ever have a streamer war, technically, that would be interesting to see, like 100%. Like that's a funny idea that might be like coming through. Who knows? But again, like, it'll be super hard because you'll need 8 streamers for that, and another streamer to do it who doesn't want to play. That's a crazy idea. True. So yeah, but like, since you like are on and off in the community though, like seeing the community now or seeing the community at LANs, first thing when you saw it online playing in the tournaments, like what do you think is different in the sense, like do you think like the players are like in a different sense to online to offline, or like do you think that there could be stuff that could be better in the online sense, or like what's your genuine opinion?
Yeah, I really like the vibe of offline events. I really think it makes people act more human. It makes them act more compassionate. And I think it makes people behave better because, you're not raging at a screen and some name on a screen. These are real people. And even if you're mad that you lost, someone right across from you just won and they're hype. And I mean, sure, you're going to be mad or something, but I think it just leads to people behaving better. Online, it's so easy to just post and let your rage get the better of you. And there's so much unnecessary beef. There's so much. And I have to go in this with the awareness that I am a sensitive person. I'm sensitive to conflict. I know there's been this discourse online so many times, like, does Splatoon need more trash talk? And I am a firm, I'd rather not. But I know I'm not everyone. And I think as long as people aren't being hurtful, like actually personal attacks hurtful, I can't stop them from saying things. But I generally think that I want to see kindness, and I think we're kind of trending back toward that. I think easing off of Twitter has made a big difference.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I really, I think I don't know. It seems like for a while there's this big emphasis on being like the cool guy who has hot takes and is mean to everyone.
Mhm.
And I don't like that. I don't like that. And I think in person that has a lot less clout to it than it
Mhm.
does online. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That was kind of a unhinged rant, but that's more or less how I feel about things. I used to get really worked up seeing people be jerks online. I took it really poorly, and you know, I can't control everyone.
Yeah.
I can expect them to do better, but I used to lose a lot of sleep over it, and now I can't afford to.
Well, at least, well, you have to be a little bit controversial in the podcast at least. So that's one of the hot takes at least. But if you want to go to a little bit more hot takes, let's go into production hot takes. So, as a streamer, what kind of assets or what kind of things would you want to add in that other people didn't add?
And I will preface this with someone may have done this and I totally missed it. But anytime there's predictions on a stream, I would love to see a stat that says like, this is how many times chat was right today. Like just a tracker of like how many times the predictions were correct or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see that. Like some more interactive elements.
Mm-hmm.
Not so far as to put things that people say in chat on the stream. I think that's always a risk. But I do think it can increase the hype. There are benefits to having that huge wall between the chat and the stream because, you know, it's so volatile. But what else? Like that's one that I've always had bouncing around in my head is just, you know, showing like how much is chat cooking right now. I should have had these fresh because there was a period of time where I kept track of ideas like this. I would love to see people experiment with like ink colors more to match their branding. Now that is difficult. I remember years ago I did a proof of concept in Splatoon 2 to like swap out the ink colors, and it was buggy, but and it was just all OBS trickery. But some people thought it was pretty cool, and I was kind of hoping that maybe a tournament with really specific colored branding and stuff would, you know, use color lock and make Team Alpha always one color of their brand and Team Bravo the other color of their brand. And I've seen that for other esports, and I'm not saying it would fix everything, but it would be kind of cool to see an event try it, you know?
And do you think, okay, so there was a controversy that happened a couple of weeks ago, having another spec cam on the bottom left just for the overhead. Yes or no?
That's tough. I think you would have to have almost nothing else on the screen if you're doing that, or at least nothing permanently on the screen, because it will get busy really fast. I get the temptation. I just don't know how much value it will add to the viewers. And again, I saw the questions, like I saw this come up on social media, but I did not deep dive into everyone's opinions on it. So I might be saying something that is not well received. That's fine. Yeah, because my main opinion is I get the appeal of it sometimes, but at that point, if it's that selective, you could always just pop to the overhead view when you think it's a good time. I think what I do think is I think having a separate view of the overhead for commentators would be super useful. Now, if they could still view the in-game, but like if you had two separate like streams live, which I don't think you can view multiple streams at the same time in Discord, but I do think that could be useful as a commentator. I don't know if the audience needs that.
Oh, that is a hot take for sure. Because in that controversy, funny enough, you are with the majority actually. Because yeah, people are saying like for the commentators it would make a lot more sense because they have another view, but for like the viewers it might be too much clutter. And
okay, so I have the coldest take possible of the Discord.
you had the coldest take possible because you added the commentator bit, which some people agreed with, which people agreed with as well in the commentator sense. And then in the middle of the vote, people were saying yes or no. And funny enough, for me, I was in the yes side that it could be added, but there has to be a way to do it, like in the research league. How they did it was they added it on the bottom left, just the map only. So if they do it something like that, how they did in research league, it would make sense.
I'm not saying it can't be done. it's just that's my true gut reaction when I think about that. I'm like, maybe. I probably wouldn't, like, personally, I wouldn't be dying to add that to my stream, but I could see it being pulled off.
Yeah. So like for major events, that should exist. Yeah. That is the best place to put it, because like you are showing off your high level skill technically to the world, like technically. So it would make sense to like put all the action to it, like how like other esports does it as well too. That would kind of make sense. But yeah, it's now that we're going into that kind of like take side, like we remember, and even in the Splatoon broadcaster server, you have a document to help with spec cam. Like,
yes, I realized this was probably coming up as soon as this conversation hit.
Yep, 100%, because that is one of the things that like new spec cameras, or if they have the doc open or have the doc running on their side, like they do, like to check it out. But funny enough, it's an 8-page document. So with the new Gen Alpha, Gen Z people who wants to read, imagine reading, like that's crazy. Like, would you want to make a video on that or update that in any kind of way, or leave it as is?
Making a video editing is not my super skill set. I think it could have value, and if I would honestly even give someone else my blessing to make a video based on the content of that, if they wanted to. Because I think videos are a format that a lot of people like to learn from. Yeah, I guess I've always been open to input on the document. I got a few pieces of input when it first came out, but then it's not like someone's gonna hunt me down on Discord typically and be like, you should add this. I haven't really seen that, but I'm honestly just shocked people still reference it. I'm happy. Yeah. I really didn't expect it to gain any traction. I really just wanted to put my thoughts down there, and I'm so happy it helped people. I was really surprised by the reception.
Yeah, like basically, like you're one of the only people who actually like open up about doing production, like in that kind of sense, because on YouTube, like there's barely anything that you can like do about production. Like there's only like one thing on YouTube about how to do Splatoon commentary, and that's it. So you having that document about doing how to do spec cam is a good thing for a lot of people, and that, yeah, you made a little bit of a generation for a baseline like of how to do spec cam for a lot of people. So yeah, you gotta get things for that for sure. And funny enough too, yeah, can I get that blessing to make the video?
I say go for it, as long as you just credit me somewhere.
Oh yeah, 100%. But damn, I need to actually read that whole document. Like that's basic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like,
and I might have told you before, but in all honesty, the way I expected that doc to go, I expected it to get ripped to shreds.
Oh.
Because I felt like I had a decent sense of spec cam, but this was still when I was just SAC and occasional SOS maybe, and I didn't really see any formal conversations about it, and I was kind of wondering, like, no one's talking about this. And I actually made that document expecting to get completely corrected, but I was like, I just want to start this conversation because no one else is having it. And so I just put down my understanding, and then surprisingly a lot of people agreed with me. I genuinely thought, I'm like, I'm just gonna put this out there and correct it as people rip it to shreds.
That is, well, you thought in a negative light, but it turned out to be a positive light, because the only people who can shred into you was other streamers, and during that time there was basically no one else streaming. So like, how could you be shredded to pieces by players who doesn't know how to do spec cam? So
I definitely was being dramatic saying shred to pieces, but I guess I wasn't 100% confident, and I feel like that document really made people take me more seriously, which is funny because I'm thankful for that. It was like a contribution that's marked, and I really did think people were going to read it and think, who's this guy? Like, why would we care about what he has to say? But I don't know. It's just, that was funny. I do remember around that time, I was pretty insecure about my spec cam. Like, I really was. And I actually, again, I made this to try as a learning opportunity for myself. Because, I don't know if you've gotten it, but I'm sure every streamer occasionally gets feedback from commentators like,
yep,
they didn't really like how I did spec cam one game or something. And I got that a few times, like not in a row, but there was maybe a month where I got kind of multiple pieces of feedback like that, and I was really kind of doubting myself. And it was from like commentators that are pretty well respected, so I felt extra oof. And so I was really buckling down, trying to take it seriously. I was like, I'm never gonna get this again. I want them to like me. I want them to like my stream, my spec cam.
Well, funny enough, like nowadays, like the spec, like how do you do spec cam? That's the first thing we should put this in flat. How do you do spec cam? Like, give me your idea of how you do spec cam.
My general thing is I'm a big fan of the free moving overhead cam. In Splatoon 3, I try to stay close to the action as possible, but I'm usually pretty light-handed with going on a single player, unless I always try to think, are they about to make a move? And that's usually when I like to swoop into the individual player. Like anything that feels like it's about to dictate how the game is going to go. That's usually like when I try to go in on an individual player.
Do you have this on your document or no?
I think I do. Maybe not in those exact words, but I think I specifically mention, is someone initiating a fight? Is someone about to flank? Is someone about to like use a certain special or something?
So
I think it's in some form on that, but it might not be in those exact words.
So you're saying in TLDR terms, since you have player knowledge or game knowledge of how you actually play in the match, think about how you're in the match and spec cam the way that people would want to see it, right? Italy?
Yes, I'm thinking as a player, where would I be looking? Like, what information is important here? And then I try to keep the camera on that, unless it's super boring. Like, pencil can be important, but that can be a boring view sometimes. So, you'd use that selectively.
You know what's crazy?
Because that's the tough balance, is trying to keep things interesting, but also important.
Yeah, you know what's crazy?
Yeah.
I don't know how, maybe you don't, maybe I saw the talk, or maybe we talked about it a little bit. But literally, that's my opinion too. How you should do spec cam too. So, damn, two minds think alike.
Yes, and I mean the way I say it and the way I do it in the moment may always differ, because when you're actually in that moment, you have to make those decisions at a split second, and you're not even always gonna love the decisions you make.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of brain power, and you have to think. I think I actually improved as a player because of spec camming.
Like that's honestly is a thought too. Like when I saw myself like playing in the recent like Big Dapple, like I thought the same thing too. Like because of having so much game knowledge and hearing the content as well, and watching like top level players play, I know like a little bit more how to play this weapon or how to play this playstyle. Like,
and you still have to refine your mechanics and stuff, but yeah, it refined my understanding of the game at a macro level a lot, simply because I had to learn it to do good spec cam.
And you talk about macro level, damn, that's some commentator words right there. Like that's some analytical commentator words right there. So yeah, going back to about the commentator, you're fine. You'll be a good commentator, honestly.
Yay!
Just get on the train back when Whipcat happens again. You'll be set. But yeah, I think that would. Do you want to talk about some opinions about? You want to do another hot take?
If you think you can get one out of me,
IPF was a Dapple, which was better.
I mean, my heart, simply from just, I know so many IPL people. I gotta side with IPL. They're my besties.
So in the IPL war, in IPF was a Dapple war, you would be siding with IPL. Okay.
I mean, they made me who I am. It's nothing against Dapple by any means. It's just that, like, the IPL people were the ones who gave me that chance. They're the ones who really taught me so much, and they're a lot of my friends. And it's just, honestly, it's because I'm NA and the availability. It's just, that's the sphere I entered.
Makes sense. Yeah. So you would be the backliner to the IPL team in the whole scrim setting it, where if IPL as a double ever happens, that would be a crazy thing to look at for sure. But
I guess you could count on me for that.
Yep. But if you were ever to stream like a tournament again, like one off or like a big event, like one off online or like a weekly, like which one would you lead into? Like, would you want to do like a one-off event, like say if like bad ideas only somehow come back, or like
I
something
think a
similar
bad
to it?
ideas would be like the perfect kind of event to ease back into it, or something that's chill and kind of funny.
Mhm.
Just either like a every now and then there's those tournaments that are kind of put on by a friend group,
Mhm.
or something like a bad ideas. Or what I did to keep myself sharp for a little while is I would actually stream IHOP's Ludi matches after I was off the team.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I would do that if we got both teams permission.
Mm-hmm. Makes
Uh,
sense.
so little things like that. I think definitely I would want to start small.
And like, would you be trying to use your code again to do that? Like, were you trying to improve your code, like been adding more stuff to it, or
If
would
I
you
were
be
to
basic?
improve my code, I think the biggest thing, I think the thing that would add the most polish would be making just some sort of transitions when the text changes, because I think that's the one thing that bums me the most. And it's not a huge deal, but when you change the names and stuff and it just jumps to the other one instead of kind of swooshing in and out, I feel like that is one of the ways I could probably get the most polish and quick improvements out of it. But I would almost certainly still use it, just because it's easier than opening Notepad and changing values and undoing that.
Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, I think that should be everything about like your production story, honestly, in general. Like, even though the title says OG Splatoon production, like you were in the peak era actually of Splatoon production before Ink TV like fell off entirely. Anything TV got canceled during the time as well too. You were there during that time, during that era, but you were in the time of the shift of production. You were like helping the new gen to where they are today. So like, do you have any like thoughts or words to the new gen people who out today, like who's doing production?
It's always going to be scary. I'm even as an experienced streamer, I get so nervous every time I go live. Maybe not everyone's like that, but basically it's always nerve-wracking. I remember my Fitbit would think I was cycling because I'd be like rocking back and forth in my chair and my heart rate goes up. It's always scary, but also if something goes wrong, it's okay. Like, things will go wrong, and it's more about how you recover from that and how you keep your head cool than expecting it to be perfect.
And like, for the organization that helped you to go to your way, do you want to say anything to like them, like CCA, IPL, Apple?
I'm just very grateful for how much work everyone puts in to put on a good show for everyone. Until you're behind the scenes, it can be easy to underestimate how much people are giving for pretty much no direct return. Like, they really just want people to have fun. And I mean, sure, they're doing it because they enjoy it too, but it's a lot of work, and it's something that they should be really proud of. Anyone who's running these orgs and doing these productions, it can be easy to be stressed out and forget just like how cool it is. I don't know.
Well, like, talk about with the stress too, like before we going all the way to the end, like what would you do if you had burnout? Like, what would be your tips for like streamers or like producer people, even commentators? Like, because they're all technically in kind of the same circle, because you're all going to be all on the screen. What would you do like to talk about like what is your tips for burnout?
Be proactive about seeking help. Like, if you're feeling burnt out, you're probably not in a negative way, but you're probably already late. So like, if you're feeling symptoms of burnout, try to start building a support network, so that maybe either find, especially as a streamer, start maybe asking, can we train someone up to maybe fill in on the days I need a break or something. Try to be proactive about it instead of having it all boil over and create a huge mess. And it might happen. It's a volunteer gig. Like, people make mistakes, messes get made, but it's just from my experience, try your best to create that support network so that you can help each other.
But in the streamer, in the streamer inflation, let's say, that's happening today, but if there's only like 8 streamers, what would be another way to help with tips for burnout? Basically, if you don't have that support group, because again, with 8 streamers, what would be other tips?
One is learn how to say no sometimes. As much as it stinks,
Mhm.
an event can technically not have a stream sometimes if it's just not in the cards.
Mhm.
That one is the nuclear option, so be careful with that. But if you're like, I will lose my sanity if I have to do this, it's better to not have a stream that day.
Mhm.
And yeah, pace yourself.
Mhm.
Don't do several 6-hour streams in a week for several weeks in a row if you also have school and a job.
Mhm.
Like, it takes time. You have to figure out where your limits are, and
Mhm.
you can always refine your limits over time, but you just got to be listening to yourself.
Mhm. Well, that's some really good tips for the main Defo streamers who's actually going to be looking to go into it, and for streamers today, definitely for myself, honestly, but enough because I still didn't
Yeah.
learn about that. But yeah,
I learned the hard way.
yeah, no, honestly, I am learning the hard way too. Don't worry, we're both again, we're going in the same circle. Honestly,
Yes,
I think we're just technically almost the same person in the streamer side.
I
But
get
yeah.
it. I get it.
Yeah, literally, yeah, no. I think that's technically would be everything to talk about for this Chillcast right enough. So, do you want to say anything else before, like, that's it, before we're done?
Dumbo IHOP may not compete together, but we're never fully gone.
Aw, that's cute.
I have to
That's,
shout them out.
yeah, that is so cute. And yeah, do you want to say anything? Socials, or if you're going to be coming back to doing anything?
It's too soon, but I will say having this conversation and having the fond memories definitely makes it tempting.
To do streaming for production or to stream sample ticks again?
Oh, I'm almost certainly going to start streaming rhythm games again. Fun fact, to wrap it up quickly, I'm back on Ethernet at home, so my crappy Wi-Fi was a major reason I stopped streaming. That's not a thing anymore. I can go live as much as I want now. Yay!
Yo, that'll be sick. Yeah, actually to see some sample TikTok that coming out again, that'd be sick to see. And honestly, like if you get to battle like somehow, if there's a way that you can like battle all the TOs or something like that. No, if there is, I always had this random idea in the back of my mind. Splatoon, like you remember the tournament that Bush did? Just like Splatoon tournament but chess.
Yes. So almost like a Splatoon talent show. Like, show us what else you're good at.
Oh no, I was thinking just Splatoon, but it's actually a rhythm game tournament.
Okay.
Like
I can rep for Sound Voltex and Beatmania 2DX and a little bit of DDR. I know you saw that I'm posting some scores here and there, but
yeah, but what about Osu though?
I am so washed in Osu. I literally played that game in 2012. That was when I played.
Yeah, so funny enough, it would be easy to do it in Osu because there is technically a circle of people. Yeah, tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Tournament client as well, technically, because like you said for the Konami thing, that you have to like pay a subscription for it, and who knows about tournament mode. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's any head-to-head in that, but oh, yeah, it's been a genuine decade since I've played Osu. Like, it was such a different game back when I played.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like it was so good game before, and now it's made. Now there's Mania, Taiko, Catch the Beat. Now there's Laser Grand Arena that's happening. The whole multiplayer is different now. There's so many more mods to it. Like so much things changed to Osu. And also, if you want to know about, did you catch up to like rhythm game information, like Osu information?
I honestly am a bit insulated on that stuff right now, so I'm not up to speed with Osu.
So, what was the PP record when you joined Osu?
I don't even know how to answer that question.
Wait, 2012 was when the PPV vote existed.
PP existed, but I don't remember any numbers.
HVAC. Well, who was the top? Who was number one during the time?
It was still White Wolf and Cookie Z.
You mean Wubble Wolf?
Or Wubba Wolf, yeah. Sorry.
So Wubble Wolf and Cookie Z. So that means the PP record might have been Cookie Z's Freedom Dive ACHR score of an 800
That
PP.
was still up there.
Yeah. So you want to know what the PP record is today?
What?
2048.
Okay.
With hidden double time on aim slot.
Okay.
So like the general like difference from that to Cookie Z's HDHR score on Freedom Dive. The Freedom Dive was streams, like consecutive
Yeah.
stream with combo reliance to be mattered a lot with accuracy. But today's standards, that combo scaling got removed. So you don't need to worry about combo at all. You just need to focus on getting good combo
nice.
and
Yum,
high
yum, yum.
aim. So yeah, 2048 PP on that. And did you just send your OS? Oh my god, you sent your OS
I said
profile.
that's when I used to play
Oh, that is
a long
Oh.
time ago.
holy. Wait, that's how old? Hold on.
Yes, I was like rank 7,000 back when that didn't mean anything.
But you were ranked 7,000.
But that was also back when way fewer people played. Like I was ranked 7,000, but people would be like, "That's bad."
Oh yeah, no, makes sense. Really funny enough for me, like looking at your profile as well. Because looking at yours, it's saying that yeah, you joined in 2012 and in 2016. I I literally joined during when you were starting to like stop. Yeah, I joined in
Just like
April 2016. Literally, yeah, no, just like streaming. Like I joined in April 2016. So
Yeah.
yeah, that is so funny. But that's even more crazy that you're literally the one of the OG players. So I think you have like a special like tag or something.
Do I?
Like-
I literally haven't logged in since 2016. I don't.
I think you your profile because you were like in one of the OG founders of the game. I think
Medals.
like maybe it's not medal, but I think it's like something like a title or something. I forgot because I think
don't
they had
see
that.
it. Okay.
Maybe they had something like that, or maybe no, maybe that. But no, wait, no. You joined 2012. Never mind. I'm thinking more 2008.
Yeah,
That's
it
when the
wasn't
OG.
that new.
Yeah, it was like in the era when it started to become popular. That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, so you were still in the peak era of the game, so that was good. Dude, that was, like,
except I was way too tilty back then, and I got really hard stuck and gave up.
Oh, don't. Oh well. Talking about hard stuck. I'm still 6-digit. Literally ever since I started the game, I'm still 6-digit because of aim slop. I'm going down to 200k. That's literally like the worst thing, but the funniest thing ever.
It happens. Just gotta, yeah. If you're not like, I don't know what to tell you, because again, back when I was playing, 7,000 was bad, so it's so hard to compare.
Yeah, it's hard to. No, it's funny enough to compare as well because there's like millions of players on Osu now. So like,
Yeah.
it's like it's basically saying that you're stuck here forever. That's the
Yep.
era. Yeah, but yeah. Okay, so yeah. Now I think we're officially done, and we can officially wrap this up. So, what are your social medias?
I mean, I'm Boing.inc on Blue Sky. That's pretty much the only thing I still post on. I'm very quiet. I haven't posted about Splatoon in a while, but you know, every now and then I do.
Your YouTube or Twitch, if you ever do those
Oh yeah,
stuff?
my Twitch is Boing_.
Mhm.
And YouTube, I don't really have one right now. Like I have one that I dump Twitch clips and stuff onto, but it's not like a actively posting to it kind of thing. So I don't. I mean, yeah, I think it's called like Boing's VOD Closet or something.
And also, in one random thing, are you like you said that you're in the LGBTQ sphere, right?
Yeah.
Are you a furry?
Yeah. if the profile picture didn't give that away. And if you want to know what I'm going to be doing during Gommel, it's Anthrocon. So
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Literally, like in as well too. If anyone wants to know in the IPL sphere, like if you're in IPL, there's most likely a chance that you're a furry, in some
there's
kind
a
of
lot
way.
furries in IPL.
In some kind of way, you can be introduced. You can be introduced to a furry or be a furry in some kind of way. There's like a 5% chance.
Yep. I've been doing that for a long time.
You're a part of the cycle.
I am.
Well, the Boing.
All right.
Thanks for coming on to the
Yeah, of
Chillcast.
course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was fun to talk to you, and for sure, like talking to producers who doesn't have a voice until now. It's great. It's not just not the big names. So yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. No, thank you again. And yeah, I don't know how to end this. Like, you want to say something to end it?
I don't know. I thought my thank you was the sign off, so now I'm tripped up.
You could just say, for instance, like chicken butt or something, like it's like an IHOP meme or something.
Oh my gosh. Uh. Oh, I could end with the hottest take of all. And no one has time to respond to me. All maps should be legal.
And that is going to be the cut from there. Okay, goodbye, chicken butt.